this is Preeti with another card with Stamp Along for Rubbernecker. And today we're making a slimline gift card, and I'll tell you what I mean by that, and you can see how this little gift card holder works. So what I'm doing is I'm starting off with a white cardstock which is cut to 4 by 8.5. A slimline note card is usually 3.5 by 8.5. So I've just increased the width of it by half an inch, so it's 4 by 8.5. And I'm just choosing 3 different distress oxide colors and 1 distress color, of course, and I'm going to blend this white paper. I don't really care if it is splotchy. It really wouldn't matter. I just need the color onto this white white piece of cardstock. So I'm just blending 3 different shades of like yellows and some orange and a deeper orange, just to give that pumpkiny shade of orange. And then once I'm done, you can see the color, it's all blended, and it doesn't matter if it's blotchy. And then I'm going to take this metallic paint. This is from Ken Oliver, and there's these paints available at the Rubbernecker store as well. But you need to shake it up really well, and the reason for that is because these paints do have a pigment, which is the mica, which is a shimmery pigment, and it settles at the bottom. So you need to shake it up really well, and then once you're done shaking, it mixes up well, then you're ready to use it. So all I'm using this is to create some splatter onto that blended cardstock, and you can see how beautifully it shimmers. Now I've taken this die, and this die is called the Slimline OPC Geo Square, and it just cuts this beautiful pattern onto your cardstock. So I've just gone ahead and cut that using a black cardstock, and my idea is to eventually put it on it. I've gone ahead and done the same thing with another white cardstock. This is the second panel, and I'm using the second die piece. So I've cut that black die cardstock with the black die, with the OPC die twice, and for the second time I want to do some embossing paste. So I'm just going to place this the die onto the blended cardstock, and I'm just using a shimmer embossing paste, or glitter paste, actually not embossing paste, glitter paste, and I'm just going to smush it inside. So I'm using this die as a stencil actually, and I don't really want to go to all the edges. I just want a little bit of the shimmer peeking through the pattern, and once it dries you'll see how it looks. So I'm just going to peel it off. As soon as I'm done, I'm just going to peel it off so it doesn't adhere to my cardstock, and I'm going to set it aside and leave it to dry. You can always use this panel as well. It has all this beautiful shimmer on it, but I'm not going to use that for this project today. So I'm just letting it dry. Now I've taken this stamp, and this is called Trick or Treat Kitty, or Cat, sorry, and I'm just going to add some Copic colors to this cat. I've gone ahead and stamped the cat using my Copic friendly ink, and then I'm just choosing a couple of Copics, and I'm just going to color this image. I'm going to leave you with some music, and I will come back once I'm done with the coloring. with my coloring now, as you can see, and I'm going to use the coordinating die for this stamp set, and I'm just going to die cut this using the die. And I've gone ahead and die cut two of these because I want to uh, cover up that messy back, and I'll show you later why it's necessary to cover up the messy backs. So now it's time to build the note card holder. So I'm taking my score buddy, and I'm going to score this panel in just two different points. One is at 2.5 inches, and the next one is going to be at 6 inches. So this one is at 2.5, as you can see, and the second one is at 6 inches. And once I'm done scoring both these lines, I am just going to take my bone folder and crease this really well. You want to crease this really, really well. And I'll tell you why as we progress as well. And while I was creasing, I noticed the back of it, or the inside of this, is completely covered up with all the distress paint, distress colors that I used previously. So I need to cover this up. So I'm just going to take another white cardstock exactly the same size, and I'm just going to adhere it. So that just covers up all that extra, all that ink that bled behind it. And now I'm going to score it once again because I added that second cardstock, and I need some score on the second cardstock as well, so that I can fold my gift card holder in the same place once again. So once I'm done scoring and really using my bone folder to press the score lines down, I am going to adhere this black die cut. Now this is the plain black die cut that I dyed the first time, the very first time. So this doesn't have any glitter on it or anything. So I'm just going to adhere there. And the other thing to note is the cardstock I'm using are pretty lightweighted. I'm not using heavyweight 100 pounds or 110 pounds. Most of these are 80-pound cardstock, and you need it to be a lighter weight because you are scoring multiple and you want them to score well. And I really find it easy to fold and score them when the cardstock is not too thick. So I've gone ahead and taken a corner rounder punch here, and I'm just going to punch two corners of one folded panel. So there are two of them. Remember, there was a 2.5 inch and then a 6 inch. On one side I rounded both the edge. On the second side I'm going to take the smallest circle die, and I'm going to, somewhere in the middle of that second panel, folded panel, I'm just going to cut a semicircle. And you want to make sure when you put this through your machine, you are opening the entire note card. You don't want to cut through all of them, and that's how it's going to be. And you'll see why I cut that semicircle. Now I'm going to use a really thin score tape, and this is quite a strong adhesive, and it's a really good one for this particular project. One thing to remember is the score tape width that I'm using is a 1/8 inch score tape. You don't want any thicker than that, because there's not much space in there, because you also want to make sure there's enough room for your card to slip in and out without any hindrance. And you will see when I remove this score tape, what do you call that little sheet that protects the glue, after I remove that, I'm just going to fold that over into the white panel, and it just creates a pocket, and then you can just add that card, whatever gift card you would like, into it. And the semicircle makes it easy for you for a finger space to pull your sentiment, and you can easily write your sentiment on that white space above it. Now I'm going to take that kitty cat that we colored earlier, and you can see if I were to adhere it just like that and I opened it, and you can see how raw that edge looks. So to make it nice and clean, all I did is I just glued that second die cut that we die cut earlier right behind it, so then when you open it, you don't see all that bleeding of the Copic markers through that color, and it looks a little more finished. Of course, these are handmade cards, so it really doesn't matter if you don't add it, but sometimes I can be a little obsessive compulsive. So there you go. So I'm just going to, and then when you're adhering this image, you want to make sure that you're adding the adhesive only to the top part of the flap and not to the bottom. If you were to add it to the bottom, you will close this cardstock shut, and when the recipient opens it, the entire card holder will spoil. I lost some footage. What I did is I added a magnetic snap inside to close this cardstock or this card holder. But I did have another little card holder that I had made earlier, so I thought I'll just show you what I did. So I have this magnetic snaps, which has a positive and a negative magnet, and all I did is I just took the positive one first, and then I removed so it has a adhesive paper on the top, so you just remove it and it reveals the adhesive on the magnet, and then I just placed that to the center, somewhere in the center below the semicircle. And then I took the negative of the magnet, and then I placed that magnet right over that, and then peeled the adhesive paper from the top of the negative magnet, and then I just shut the flap, the card holder flap, and that adhered the negative part onto the top fold. And you can see there, so now you know they are matched very well, and that was an easy closure. Now if you don't have a magnetic stab, those magnets, you can easily make a belly band and put it across it, and that'll look fine too. And that pretty much finished the project for the day. I hope you really enjoyed this video. Give us a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to our channel, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.